Belligerence is very dangerous. Okay. Never take it lightly. I don't care on the lighter side if a person can get very huffy. If a person get very huffy and speak, you see, the thing is, people speak and say things, but it's not usually what causes. They said is not as much as a person would say, but it's not much of how they're saying it. What are they really saying? The tone you will listen to. See, the Bible says that it's not that words stir up wrath. It says harsh words. Okay. Harsh is usually comes in a place of hastiness where a person can be very quick with the kind of verbiage they're saying to you. And you know, people know somewhere deep down inside when after they have enough experiences with you, whether or not you care for them or you don't. And if you know yourself, you live yourself long enough, you know you haven't brought enough harm to a person. You've actually been there for them many times over. If the relationship has certain avenues that needs to be confronted, especially if you feel that you're being, well, misunderstood or you're being asked too much that you shouldn't be given, and you do it out of the sake of, well, that's what friends do. At some point, you're going to grasp the fact that they're not looking at it from that aspect. They've actually, placed an entitlement, a expectation, and an ungrateful statement over you, and they're going to make sure that you're going to operate on that level. Some people is not as smart. They're not as smart. They're actually very stupid. And it's a very stupid thing to ever damage a good relationship. But some people don't see that because they see things in the short term. They're more about winning the argument instead of listening to why there is an argument. It usually takes two people to deal with any kind of situation. And when it can be met on both sides on a reasonable manner, it's usually because one person is being belligerent, and it will come out. It will come out. They said about narcissists, the thing they do is something called a DARVO. They deny what you said. They attack you. They will reverse it. Okay. And they will play the victim and that you are now the offender. And you're kind of thinking, wait a second, from the onset of what we just had here is because you started this. Another group of people said it goes on even further. It's called reactive abuse. And some people just will blow their lid because they just had it. You see, the thing with good natured people, they usually like to give the free card. You know, you're free. Next time you're free. Next time you're free. They don't pull back their cards, and they keep playing the game over and over again. And a lot of times, good people do like other people to win. When you're in a card game with people, those people ain't seeing you as somebody that's just playing a game with them. No, they're in it for competitive reasons. They're in it to win. Okay. And from the onset is that you were probably not paying attention. What they're really doing, they're winning over you. When you change the environment and you begin to now be the adult and you begin to confront certain things that are going on, they're actually really, they call it relationship crimes. Is that what has happened is that they have to turn it back on you. Because, hey, wait a second, they're found out. You see, grown people who are adults, people who are mature, don't go about being belligerent. They don't go about trying to win over other people, trying to compete with them, trying to take advantage of them, or even trying to create misunderstandings. If you have anything going on with somebody, you said, even if you came out, whatever tone you used, but you were upset enough, you said, this is what you're doing, and I didn't like it. And if they are truly your friend, they'll turn back around and go, well, I really don't get it, but I really am sorry. Maybe I need to think about it. They value you more than they value the argument, or they value the moment of confrontation or the moment of the issue. They value you more. They value you enough to, even if they think they're absolutely right, they're willing to say, well, you know what? I'm wrong. And you know why? Because no one's perfect. And so maybe I need to examine this a little further. That's how maturity works. In your life in general, what you want to be aware of is being consistently aware, beware of belligerence, because it starts off at the beginning. It starts off in little tiny language movements, behavior, jibes, little things they do where they kind of overstep in places they shouldn't be stepping into. When they start to try to take too much from you and you know you're feeling drained, you keep going on and on for a variety of reasons, you do it. And the commitment within the relationship really is they're committed to what you're bringing and you're committed into what you're given. That is not a relationship. That is basically a giver and a taker. And they can deny it all they want. And you know, the more belligerent, especially when you get into that's probably one of the biggest testers of any kind of relationship, so whether it's going to fail or not. When a person goes to the point of getting so belligerent and they need to actually get into you and try to rip you apart, okay, especially after you've stated something, and look, you may say it out of anger or whatever, but you listen to them carefully. And if you don't hear them say at any point, you know what, I could have been wrong. You know what, well, you know what, I'm really sorry. Okay, you don't hear any of that stuff, man. You don't have anything else but belligerence. Have a good day. And the opposite of belligerence is well, belligerence usually goes along the same way as being malevolent. Uh, not yeah, malevolent, I think it is. But when you're benevolent, you're more nicer, gracious, kinder, merciful, and usually people who operate in on those character traits usually can't ever become belligerent because it's not in their nature to. It's not in their nature. So beware of belligerence. However, where you find, look it up in the dictionary what it means. I don't have a dictionary right in front of me, but even if you speak out the word, it gives you enough of the tone to realize it has a very awful effect behind the word alone. Belligerent. Beware of it, and do like and subscribe, and have a good day. Thank you.